And I thought, this is perfect for us.
It's perfect for us.
It's perfect for us. So there was a recent study that analyzed 100,000 words across 10 languages, and it found that Spanish is the world's happiest language. And they base this on the fact that Spanish has the highest positivity bias, meaning that it contains more positive words than negative ones. So researchers compiled the most frequently used words from books, news, social media, movies, and then had native speakers rate their emotional impact. The results suggest that Spanish speakers may experience a more optimistic outlook due to their language's naturally positive tone. What do you think about that?
I disagree with that. Right. Have you ever met an older Cuban woman who's happy?
Maybe this doesn't factor age. Maybe this doesn't say, after the age of 80,
but
you
it's
just
still
become
80. I think after 40. After 30. Have you ever gone to any Latin-based service, a Walgreens that's like in Hialeah, una carniceria, a supermarket, and people are like giving you great, happy customer service?
Well, no, but that's a whole different conversation.
Or Mirta that works behind the counter in la cafeteria. Yeah. Mirta was like, que me parta un rayo, Like, I mean, where are these happy people?
So that's a no on your end.
I mean,
again, they were also including, German in there. So, I mean, automatically, Germany's going to go to the bottom of that list.
I mean, you don't know. Germans can be a hoot.
Okay, but as far as language goes, do you really think it's a happy language? like that's not a happy language.
Achtung, baby. That's all I know. And ja.
And baby's not even in German.
Only Achtung.
Yes.
I think that maybe Spanish is a happy language because, Latin people are just very vivid and very we're very alive and exciting, and we exaggerate things, and we're very
animated.
Very animated. That's the word I was looking for. So it just sounds like it is.
Like we're happy.
But I mean, have you seen, and this is just not Cuban women, have you seen your older Latina woman? Like, they've had it. They have no time for you. Ain't nobody got time for that.
Sweet Brown was Latina.
Ain't nobody got time for that. And the men too. The men are always like, the older men are like always bothered. Like, Arturo, baja el aire acondicionado. Pero ¿por qué tú quieres que el aire? Aquí hay tremendo calor, coño. And it's like, okay, this was just a simple, like, can you put the air down? Did I just say anything that wasn't true?
No, you just recreated Ihmaed's grandparent theater.
Yeah. Yeah. You know that it's hilarious. I mean, my parents argue because they're in their 70s, late 70s. Well, my dad's 80. But like sometimes when they get into arguments, I'm like, I'm like the intermediary. I'm like, stop. Both of you, stop. Like little kids. It's funny when you get to the point where you revert.
Oh, yeah.
That I tell my parents now, when you get home, call me.
Oh, really?
And if they don't call me, I will call them.
Really?
Oh, absolutely. If my parents are out late, if I know they're going to my uncle's house and like I talk to them and it's 11:30 and I'm like, you're still out? Yeah, we're still out. I'm like, okay, when you get home, text me or call me. Oh, yeah. And if they don't call me, I will call them.
That's hilarious.
Ya ustedes llegaron a la casa. Okay, bye.
That's so funny.
Yeah. When your parents go driving to North Carolina, you don't call them or you don't know when they get there?
No, they usually text when they get there.
Okay. Well, if they didn't text, you wouldn't text them? Like the next day or whatever?
I would the next day, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
well,
yeah.
Don't look at me.
Okay, no. But we're talking about like, two 70-year-olds taking like, a 13-hour drive as opposed to, your parents who are going to Kendall.
Yeah, but,
I mean, these are not the same things.
But you never know. They could take a wrong turn.
That's true. That's
They
true.
could take a wrong turn.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I don't agree with that at all. I mean, have they ever gone to like a body shop? Nobody is happy there. Have they gone to una clínica cuando está llena de gente? Nobody's happy there either.
But most of these examples are also older people.
Have you gone to your average, younger, like Cuban? I'm talking about Cuban.
Oh, like
right? Yeah, Cuban, talking to their kids. Are they happy? No. Es una amenaza tras de otra amenaza que te va a partir la cara, que te va a tirar la chancleta.
But it's from love.
Right.
So
but
isn't that happiness?
But it's aggressive. It's aggressive, right?
I guess. I don't know. I mean, I was trying to think of it in terms of like what they were saying, which is like that there's a lot more like positivity bias in terms of the words. And I also just wonder if
I think we party better.
I think, well, 100%.
Yeah.
100%. But I also just wonder if a lot of that is, something you and I joke about a lot on the show, which is like certain words just sound funnier, better, so on in Spanish versus English.
You know, it's a great word in Spanish that they don't need. Well, okay. Traste, un traste.
Right.
It's traste.
Traste. Yeah.
And in English, it would be what? Tchotchkes?
See, in English, it could be very variable things. Excuse me. Because I think un traste could be like a collection.
I think of something big.
To me, like un traste could be like an old car, right? Which would then could be like a jalopy. But then, a traste could
What's a
also...
jalopy?
It's like an old car.
I thought you were going to say gelato.
No, a jalopy is like an old dilapidated, like it's a car that's like been...
No, mijito. In Spanish, es un transportation.
No. Right. But what I'm saying is...
Un cacharro.
But what I'm saying is traste can have like a lot of,
You know what's another great word
meanings.
in Spanish?
¿Cuál?
We don't say armoire. We say escaparate. Escaparate.
But see, that's what I mean. Doesn't that sound happier than armoire?
Absolutely not.
Oh, it makes me smile.
Un escaparate.
Yeah, it's a fun word to say.
Escaparate.
Escaparate.
You know what's another good one? Un tornillador.
Right, and in English, that's a screwdriver.
Un tornillador.
Yeah.
Un taladro.
Un taladro. Oh, a taladro sounds like very
Un
exotic.
tornillador plano o de estría.
Oh. Not in front of the children.
Remember what my favorite is? One of my favorites?
Pozuelo?
We don't say frame. We say portarretrato. That's so good. Portarretrato.
So I just think we just sound more poetic, maybe, and maybe that's the
I think
the
we
bias.
sound more passionate and we sound more animated. I don't think we sound happier. We don't. Again, we party better.
Yes.
We're more, spicy.
Right.
But being spicy, even think of like a spicy, the typical spicy person. It's usually with a little bit attitude and like a little bit like,
Sass.
Yeah, which is not necessarily happy.
Well, but I've never met an unhappy sassy
You know
person.
who sounds happy? I think Portuguese sounds very melodic.
Really?
You don't think Portuguese is melodic?
No, I'm just saying that because, I mean, there's similarities between the two. So it's just...
Right.
that
I think maybe they sound happier. It's the Brazilians mostly and, Portuguese, obviously. But,
that's
Brazilians...
true. I don't think I've ever seen an unhappy Brazilian.
No, they're, carnaval.
Yeah,
carnaval,
even after get one of their waxes.
And then, Cubans have the whole communism thing going on, so they're just not happy.
Yeah.
If they're not going through un apagón in Cuba, then they're here thinking about it, the family they
Going
have through
through
an
the
apagón in Cuba.
yeah.
And then if you've been here a lot of years, then you're just bitter that, they're even having apagones in
Right,
Cuba.
and it's been 50 plus years of apagones.
65. 66. Yeah, 66.
66.
That's a long time.
For apagón, yeah.
No, for one system of government.
Yeah.
Anyway, well, all this apagones is making us thirsty.
¿Tienes sed del apagón?
Tengo sed.
All right, do you want to go first?
I do want to go first.
Right.
So we have a listener, and I'm going to give her a little shout out, but she texted us something about it's our listener's La Wee Wee. Her screen name.
Well, I love that. That ties back to the whole.
I don't want to
nickname
give.
thing
I
the
don't want
other
to
day.
give her
No,
whole
that's
name.
fine.
La Wee Wee, and she was telling me. She DM'd us today, and she was saying how she's from Westchester, and she used to live right by Olympia Heights, right? So that's very middle, like heart of Westchester.
That's us, yeah.
And she was saying if she grew up in that area listening to El Afilador. And I haven't said I think I've said my Afilador
Yes,
story,
you
but
have.
I haven't said it since we've
Not
been
since
here.
video, yeah.
So I also grew up in Westchester, but I never heard it El Afilador. Okay, I heard the ice cream truck, but not El Afilador.
And I grew up in that area. And I never heard it either.
So years later, when I first opened my office in Hialeah, and my office in Hialeah is like, in a very, very commercial area of Hialeah. And I'm there on my computer, and I hear the little flute, because it's a flute. And it was a little distorted because there's a lot of traffic in this area. So there's, a lot of cars and noises. And I hear all of a sudden, I got to put the mic away. Afilador! Because they don't say it like gently.
Well,
it's like, afilador! And I'm like, what is that? Like, I come out of my office, it's like, what is that? And my assistant at the time, she's like, oh, el afilador. And I'm like, what the hell's un afilador?
I love the calm she said.
And she's like, the guy that comes around wanting to sharpen your knives. And I'm like, okay, afilador, I got it. But I'm like, this is a thing? So then I go and I ask my parents, I'm like, the thing about el afilador, and my parents are like, ay, sí, en Cuba siempre estaban los afiladores que venían en el pueblo. And they're like, por aquí pasa el afilador. And I'm like, okay, hold on. I was like, hold on. That's it.
That's the little piccolo sound. Yeah. That is it.
Okay. Okay, that sounds like war is coming. Run for your life. No, it's just some dude who's probably really unhappy, who wants to, speaking Spanish, who wants to sharpen your knives. And I was like, A, for the convenience, because I have a lot of knives that need to be sharpened. Right. If an afilador went by my house now, I'll be like, listen.
Just stop.
Roberto, para. Que tengo muchos cuchillos que necesito que afile.
Hace el día.
But I was like, when I first heard this in Hialeah, then after a while, it's like, oh, it's an afilador. Oh, it's 12 as an afilador passed by 16th Avenue. So it became such a normal thing in Hialeah. But I liked that she sent me that message, because that whole afilador thing is the afilador passing by your house and hearing the little flute as Junior just played, and then him screaming afilador. That's such a big part, I think, of the Latin experience, the Cuban experience, the Miami experience, that those are things that you don't even think about.
Yeah.
They're just there, but they are very, very unique, because these are customs that come from your country of origin, that are a very big part of where you're from, and somehow they've seamlessly reappeared in Miami. And again, it's one of those things that you can't be mad at it, because it's so nostalgic and it's so of a place and time that, a guy screaming afilador, gives you warm feelings. It's like, oh, el afilador, even though it's obstructive as hell. So, Lawiwi, thank you for your DM.
Yes.
See, we love our listeners and viewers here at Pero Let Me Tell You.
Yeah, and there's a lot of you that are new listeners, new Pero Primos, who've gone out of your way to tell us, you've just recently discovered us and have become part of the family. So, welcome and thank you.
And you have green lemons.
Yes. Yeah, a lot of you have commented on that.
Who knew that after 335 episodes and so many posts on our Instagram, that it was going to be a post about lemons and limes that got 2.6 million listeners. But,
it makes sense in a weird way.
We love it and we appreciate it, and
we're going to ride those limes.
We make note.
2.7.
It's at 2.7?
2.7.
Okay.
But by the time that you hear this, it'll be 2.8.
Yeah.
Or 2.9 for all we know.
Yeah. So lemons, lime, Sprite, 7-Up. We love it all.
We love it all. All of it. All of it.
Limeade, Sonics, get legal. Sonics burger right now.
This is the greatest hits.
Yeah.